Alright, so it appears that nobody wants to work anymore. I've been reading through the whole bunch of news articles and websites over the last couple of weeks about people who are on furlough, companies that have put people on furlough who are no longer interested in going back to work. And you only have to look at like constant stuff that's coming out as tweets or news articles or like world news, and you'll find that this is across the globe. If you think about it, like before the pandemic was really kicking in, people were constantly back and forth trying to get like a better minimum wage. I know stateside most people were just trying to get it increased from I think like $7 or $8 an hour to $15 an hour, and certain places have done that. I remember one guy, Dan Price, ended up like taking a massive pay cut so that he could pay every single one of his employees like 75 grand, and it worked out that some of those people were on a lot less money and are now putting like 200% more work in because of it. So you've got some people who are doing awesome stuff out there, but the majority of the news that's coming out is bad. And it's kind of been a cascade effect from everything that happened before. I mean, we had Brexit, and then we had the pandemic hit, so there was things already happening before this last year, 18 months kind of kicked in. Let me show you a few of these things. So we have this one, BBC News: some furloughed workers do not want to return. I think that's a common thread, is that a lot of people have been working from home. They've realized that they can do their job from home. They don't need to be in the office. They don't need to commute. Then the big companies who had this kind of like image of being on a really nice part of town, which, you know, they assumed, and I guess it did to a certain degree, give them a certain level of status because they could afford to be downtown. Or in like Manhattan, you have a lot of startups, big business in financial district. You've got obviously all the banks, but anybody who's got the money to pay to play, it's kind of like part of the cachet of being like rich, I guess, is being able to have that status. And so it's interesting to me that all those portfolio managers of all those properties, all those landlords now are struggling because there was no footfall because of the pandemic. So they just, the rents were going through the roof, can't afford to pay the rent. Then I think in New Jersey, for instance, they put in a rule so that people couldn't get thrown out of those places, because that would add an insult to injury, obviously, if you were thrown out because of backlog rent. And a lot of these people were trying to pivot their businesses to actually help during the pandemic, like putting out face masks and putting together takeaway food packages and things like that. But it doesn't surprise me whatsoever that we're getting to this point now, because people have had like 12 months, 18 months of furlough, and a lot of people just don't want to work. They just don't, they've got quite comfortable being at home, or they've learned a new skill, or they're seeing people setting up internet businesses, or they've had time to actually follow through on all of those dreams that they had of setting up a business, setting up their own thing. Oh, I wish I had time, but I'm working. So all these people who were like just getting paid to work from home were also probably factoring in, like, what would it be if I was working on my own stuff or my own business? What would that look like? So yeah, some furloughed workers do not want to return. Been great for them. Former business secretary Dame Andrea Leadsom says, she said there was some who did not want to go back because they have a garden, have great vegetables growing, and have been able to go walking, which is just wild, isn't it? A total of 11.5 million jobs have been supported by the coronavirus job retention scheme, and there were 3.1 million people on furlough. 3.4 million people on furlough as of the 30th of April. Another one, forget going back to the office, people are just quitting instead. As the pandemic cloud lifts, the percentage of Americans leaving employers for new opportunities at its highest level in more than 2 decades. Like, literally, people are being told to go back into the offices, and people are saying, don't want to, I'm just going to quit. And you can even see this trend on TikTok. There's just like lots of TikToks out there with people saying, I'm done, like I'm gonna go traveling, or like I've saved up enough money, or I've had a stimulus check and I put it either into crypto and I flipped it, and now I'm gonna go and do something else with my life. So we're gonna have this like very interesting like next couple of years, as who's gonna work, who's gonna do the work. Like, where are all these robots that you said are ready to go to deal with all of those everyday tasks? Another one, the pandemic forced millions out of a job. Some say they can't return to the way things were. I mean, that's a huge thing, right? I think that was one of the main things for me, how I felt during the middle of the pandemic, is that it gave me time to really reevaluate and think what I was doing, what I wanted to do in my life, where I wanted the next chapter to be. And I think having more time to put a lens on other people thinking that way via social media, via YouTube, via TikTok, looking at what they were considering and thinking. Loads of people can't go back now, because the thought of going back onto a 2-hour commute into the office in a job that they're just going to sit in front of a screen and feel demotivated to do, when they've been on furlough, they've been paid to sit at home and reevaluate their life choices. I think it's going to be a hard thing to do, is to get people back out into offices on the high street. I think office spaces, workspaces, the third place, from home and business, the third place, be it the coffee shop or your favorite place, food place to go. I think the whole of retail and high street has to radically change. It can't be just about landlords having a portfolio of properties that makes them X amount of money and not caring what's in there. It has to be dynamic, it has to be fluid, it has to be reactionary, it has to tap into all of the things that generate audience these days. You have to look at how TikTok can make or break a business. I've seen so many people who've started businesses on TikTok at the beginning of the pandemic and gone from 300 viewers to hundreds of thousands, and selling 50 or 60 to 100 packages a week sending out, and they've got a full-time business now. Final one, industry will collapse unless we stop PUP. I'm not sure what PUP is. Hotels, bars and restaurants struggle for staff. So the people who have been on furlough, or the people who are just coming out of staying away from society, people who've got are easily infected, or have health issues in life, where they've had to kind of keep themselves away from society, worried that they're going to get COVID. A lot of those people have been either furloughed or saving money or setting up their own businesses. So a lot of people want to get out because they want to socialize again, they want to see people. And so where do they go? They go to these hospitality places, and the hospitality places are struggling because they can't get consistent staff. The staff want to do different things. Maybe they don't want to work the same kind of hours they did before. Maybe they want to change the way they do. They get paid. They want more money for what they do. But also with us in the UK, with Brexit, a lot of people, a lot of our workers have gone back home because of the uncertainty of Brexit, of what would happen. So I think this is a global issue. It's not just a UK issue, but it's a global issue, which then got me on to looking at what incentives are out there in the world right now. So here are just 3 that I came across the other day, and there is so many towns and cities, especially in the US, that have become kind of ghost towns in a certain way, or at least ghost towns when it comes to creativity, startups, innovators, bringing money into that city. And I'm not saying that all of these cities are that way, but they understand that they need to bring a certain kind of worker into the area of a certain age who wants to set up a family that can bring income into that state. So you've got places like Northwest Arkansas. They're hoping to attract, investing more than $1 million over 6 months to attract top talent to the region through the laborX Here initiative, which brings to light the lifestyle and career benefits by the region. So apart from the blurb, I'm not sure what these guys are offering you. Oh, here it is. We're offering top remote working talent a $10,000 cash incentive to move to the region. The funds will help with everything you need to set up your new life in Northwest Arkansas. In addition to 10 grand incentive, recipients will be gifted a street or mountain bike to help you take advantage of 162 miles of paved trails, 37-mile Razorback Regional Greenway, and 322 miles of world-class mountain biking trails. Alternatively, participants can choose an annual membership to one of our world-class arts and cultural institutions. So the people understand, the people in those local authorities understand that there is a lot of people wanting to get on the move now. Life changes, pandemic has changed, made them look at their life. Where should I go? Where do I want to go? Where can I add value? Where can I feel like I can find my people, you know? Another one was West Virginia. They have this Ascend project to get paid $12,000 plus free outdoor recreation. Another one. Tucson. Yeah, I think that's how you say it. I probably got it wrong. Inviting remote workers to discover unexpected adventures in our creative, quirky, and delightful, affordable community. So they're offering $7,500, as well as direct connections with community ambassadors to help welcome you to the city. And you know, all of these places have got co-working. All of these places have got good food, good culture, outdoor trails, health and fitness stuff. And yeah, I think there's a lot of people on the move. Because they just want something different in their life, you know. And so to tie all this together, the reason why I like crypto as well, and passive income, passive earning from staking, is that I think you can combine all these things together. So one of the platforms that I love working on, which is laborX, has just introduced something called job mining. So it's a new feature that allows you to earn rewards in what's called these time tokens. So they've changed it a little bit of how time tokens work. So it used to be you buy a certain amount of time tokens and that will give you premium access. Every time a freelancer completes a job or gig on laborX, they pay a platform fee. These fees are converted into time tokens by purchasing them on the open market, which are then distributed between the freelancer, customer, and the broader community of time holders. And so there's these different programs. If you have X amount of time, you have 100 time, which at the minute I think is about $28. So not a small investment. Return on commission for finished jobs, you get 100% of it. Referral bonuses, 90% of it. You get highlighted as a highlighted provider, and you get X amount of priority placement points as well. I really like this. I really like this. What's smart about laborX is they're looking at what's current, what's working in the market. So they're looking at things like Binance Smart Chain, and they're looking at PancakeSwap, and they're looking at how people are investing in those things and then compounding it. And then they want people to be part of this platform. So if you hold their token, then you get benefits as a freelancer for doing so. And you can find it really easy on your dashboard. You've got this little job mining thing at the bottom, and you can also pull out that time as well. But I really like where this is going. So their website for it is timewarp.finance, and it allows you to, if you just click on this start staking, then you get this screen, which is the pools. Now this APR, this interest per year, was around 300%, so it's still pretty high, but they have pools on Ethereum and also on the Binance Smart Chain, so it's going to be a little bit cheaper on transaction fees on the Binance Smart Chain. Not that I would think that you would be moving things about that much, so you probably benefit just as much as having it on the Ethereum network. Of course, do your own research on this, make sure that they've had their audits and when the audits were, but it's fairly straightforward. You can just go in and you can just deposit the time in here, and then you can harvest it when you get rewards, or you can compound what you've earned already. And I think this combined with remote working, people looking for a new job, looking to take some of their savings and invest it into some of these things while they're making that transition to somewhere else in the country to do whatever job when they get there. You know, once they start networking and finding out who the people are in that new city, then there might be a wealth of different kind of jobs opening up. But this might be enough to sustain them on top of whatever they're given, you know, that 10 grand investment. Finally, a platform that I mentioned probably about 2 or 3 videos ago, but I think it's worth throwing in here as well if you're a freelancer who's just about to make that move but is wondering what to do with their savings or some of their savings. Again, this is not financial advice, it's just if I had a big pool of savings, I would probably put maybe 20% of that into crypto. Here are the top 10 crypto assets by staked value. As you can see in the 24-hour, everything is down at the minute, and I think that's going to be that way for a couple more months. There's a massive market manipulation going on at the minute. It's so regular, the market manipulation, that I'm just kind of not interested in crypto right now. But I am interested in staking. I am interested in staking something for the longer term. Projects like Cardano and Solana, I have a good feeling about those two being being something of value as developers start adopting that stuff. Also, I like BSV a lot as well because it's super fast and there seems to be a really active daily community, especially on Twitter over there. Yeah, that's it. Just wanted to do a quick little video today and wonder what people's thoughts about this. Like, what are we going to do if people are not wanting to do the jobs anymore? At some point, that conversation about basic income and country having their own digital tokens, those will be things that it will almost be like rations in the war. You know, you'll be given X amount of tokens as a basic income, and that will cover things like your rent or your housing or your food. Maybe it'll be on a sliding scale. You have to do so much work in the local community to actually access those tokens. Either way, this stuff is coming in fast, and I don't know where it's going to go, but I think it's just hedge your bets on some of these choices. There's a lot of choices and abundance out there at the moment if you are looking to make a big change in your life. And if you're looking to move from one side of the country to another and you haven't got anything holding you back, and you got a little bit of savings, like, why wouldn't you just chuck a bit of money into like an RV and just make the move and just see what happens? All right, that's it. I will catch up with you soon. You have a great weekend. Take care. Bye.